Hey, and welcome into another Master Duel video. You've been waiting, but it's finally here, the Burning Abyss deck profile with the combos and everything, so let's just get right into it. So just like I did in my Thunder Dragon video, we're gonna go to the deck profile and then look into the combos. This is pretty similar to my TCG Burning Abyss guide, but we do have our minor differences. Also let me know if you wanna see duels with the deck, like I did with Thunder Dragons, so you see the deck in action. So let's just get going with the main deck. Obviously the 3 maxi, and also by the way, Master Duel, you know, orders the cards how it wants. So this is why we're going in this order. 3 maxi is just... It's just 3 maxi, like I keep saying this, but I'm gonna keep saying this. Like this card, banned in the TCG, and it literally changes everything. So we are playing the 3 maxi. 3 tour guide from the underworld, of course. I mean, just, you know, this is Burning Abyss. If you don't know anything about the deck, you play the tour guide. Skarn on the Burning Abyss, I like 3. Skarn is really good. I mean, he's the searcher. It is at the end of the turn, but he can search tour guide, which is insane. So it doesn't even have to be a Burning Abyss. You can search tour guide with him, which is just massive. 3 Graph and 3 Seer. I just love Graph and Seer are just too good to not be trios. They're just too good. Graph summons from the deck, Seer summons from the grave, and he's really insane because he can actually summon Dante from the grave. Next up we have Alich or Alik, or however you pronounce this. It's an effect negation. You play one off because you're most likely gonna throw it with Beatrice effect just to negate something. Farfa, you know, Farfa is Farfa. He's really decent in situations. He can banish a monster on the field until the end of the turn, so that could play a huge role into disrupting the opponent's plays. Libic is really unique because he can summon Burning Abyss from the hand with a negated effect. So if you're somehow in the position where you need a Burning Abyss on the field to stay, because, you know, all of them can special summon if you don't have spell or traps on the field, but they will self-destroy if you have a monster that isn't Burning Abyss. So this way you can actually surpass it, because Libic summons with negated effect. This is why tour guide is insane. She summons from the deck negated, and all of them trigger, no matter in what way, when they're sent to the graveyard, all of them trigger their effects. So it's not like it matters on the field. So that's really important if you're stuck in a situation where you just need the Libic. Maybe they negated a Rhino, which we'll get to him, and well, he's really good in here, or something, or you're stuck with a tour guide. Libic can actually save you from that situation, so he's really unique in that way. We have the 3 Finished Rhino Warrior. I mean, this card is just made for this deck, except like it's not a dark, so you can't search it with Skarn, but otherwise it's a level 3 Fiend that works so well with the deck. Not only can he send a Fiend monster, if he's sent to the graveyard in any way, he can send a Fiend monster, so you trigger your effect, but other Fiend monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, which is insane because your Burning Abyss get to not self-destroy when he's on the field. So that's just massive, just perfect card for the deck. Barbar is a really good one-off because he can deal some life point damage, which, you know, you're gonna be like in these situations where you might be losing the board state really hard, but the opponent is low. One Barbar can actually win you the duel. And of course the Triage Blossom. Obviously my choice for hand traps are gonna be Triage Blossoms, the Maxi, and the Impermanence that we're gonna get into. Now I don't play the Absolute King Blackjack, but he's good. If you like him, you could put him in there. We do have a lot of normal traps, but I really don't wanna draw him, and with my luck especially, if you don't have a normal trap in your top 3 cards, he ends up doing nothing, especially if you waste your Beatrice effect on it too. So, you know, he's cool, he's fine. I did play him in the TCG version, but I decided to cut him out in this one. So for the spells, we have 2 Twin Twister, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I love this card in this deck. It's just way too good, especially in this deck. It's just, this is such a plus card for you. I don't understand how some people don't play it. Especially in Master Duel, now that Eldritch is everywhere and all that, maybe some other like back row decks and stuff. Twin Twister in this deck, if you don't know, as I said already, Burning Abyss is triggered every way they're sent to the graveyard. So no matter who you discard, you can no matter what Burning Abyss you discard, you can trigger their effect, and then you can destroy 2 spell and trap cards on the field. So just imagine you have a Graph or something, you get to summon from the deck and destroy 2 spell and traps on the field. Like, it's just too good, it's too efficient, it's too good for your deck. Especially we don't have a side deck here, so like, you have to main it too, but it's gonna be good, especially depending on the meta. But it's just, I love it in this deck especially. Now, if you watch this channel, you already know this is one of my favorite cards of all time, Called by the Grave. I absolutely adore this card, the versatility, everything you can do with it. it's on 2, I'm putting it on 2, it's on 3, I'm putting it on 3. You can negate hand traps, monster effect, just get rid of cards that the opponent needs on the grave, negate effects on the field by banishing the same monster from the graveyard, stopping hand traps, allowing your turn to even go through by negating things like Ash and Max C, not giving your opponent a bajillion cards in their hand until it explodes. I just love this card. Going into the traps, Phoenix Swing Blast is just insane. I could see you playing Karma Cut too. Basically we play cards that discard. As I said, again, you can trigger your effects this way and it's such a good efficiency for you. So basically Phoenix Swing Blast in certain situations can be absolutely ridiculous, because sometimes the card you're gonna return to the top of the deck can screw your opponent big time. It could be really, you can like block their whole turn if you do that to a specific card that they don't want to draw into, or they really need to draw into something, and you just get that card back. But otherwise you can target one card, so you can return whatever you want. Really strong. And again, you discard the graph or something, you return a card on top of their deck and you summon from the deck, for example. It's just really strong. Paleozoic Dynamiscus is insane. I mean, it banishes a face-up card on the field. If you aren't banishing multiple cards with Karma Cut because it banishes from the grave monsters with the same name, then Dynamiscus is just a way better version of that card. Because not only it banishes a face-up card, it sits on the grave, and because it's a Paleozoic, you basically, when you activate the trap, you can actually summon it as a monster, which is really cool. And then that way it's unaffected by monster effects and you can use it for stuff. And yeah, just an insane card, especially for that deck when the discard can be beneficial for you. And of course the 3 Infinite Impermanence, it's really good again. You do play the traps, you wanna go first, you wanna set up, but otherwise if you're second, this card actually really helps you. It's really good to you in both of the scenarios. Even if you're first and you can set it, or you just can activate it as a hand trap, it's just a really good card. And of course we have the Imperial Order. I mean, it's Imperial Order, we almost play no spells, it can totally kill some decks, it's just an insane card. It's legal in Master Duel, so we are playing it, and especially if you're first and you draw it and you set up, ridiculous stuff. Let's get into the extra deck. A quick pause to remind you that it's scientifically proven if you click that subscribe and like button, you immediately increase your pack opening luck, ultra rare pulling luck, fucking lottery ticket chances luck. So if you are enjoying the videos, click the thing and let's get back to the video. Dante Pilgrim, he's obviously here because of Beatrice. If she gets destroyed, we can summon him. And he's pretty strong, so we have the number 49 Fortune Tune. This is here because it allows you to make Zeus. If you just, all you need is just to have the life points, and if you can allow yourself to just attack into something, and you can save this card to make the Zeus after. So that's why this is here. Dante, I do play 3 Dante, I could see you playing 2, but it's really good to have these resources. Maybe you're gonna play against decks that you need the grind game. Yes, you can return them back. And again, I can see you playing 2. I like playing 3 though. Breaksword is amazing, especially in your deck, because you can destroy an abyss, trigger it, stuff like this. So just a really good card to have in certain situations when you really need to destroy a card. Dawn Magician is obviously here to make for a Zeus material. On her own, she isn't that bad if she survives the turn and then she can start pumping some damage. But otherwise she's here to make more Zeus material. Maybe you have just one material, so you place her over that one card and then Zeus can activate his effect, so it could be very important. To Beatrice now, again, I could see you thinking about playing 3 and you're like, oh, Beatrice is at 3, it's at 1 in the TCG, but actually you do need the stuff you have in the extra deck. It is pretty good. It's not like we have something that is so unimportant that we can freely remove it. I kinda like everything we have here. And the other part is like, think about it, how many duels, when you play with the deck, how many duels did you actually need to turn Beatrice, you know? Like you summon a Beatrice as part of your starting combo, then maybe she somehow gets destroyed, you even summon your Pilgrim, then you make another one. So I kinda prefer to have a bit more extra deck versatility, and obviously we played the Zeus. We played a Gravity Controller, which is actually very important, you're gonna see in the combos. In some of the combos he actually helps us to do some stuff, so he's really important. We do have the Cherubini, of course, the IP Mascarena, the Nightmare Unicorn, and an Access Code Toker. Now this could be a Borrow Sword again, you could pump out some monsters, but again, this is Master Duel, and they're both ultra rare, so it's not like real life where one was just ridiculously expensive, the other one is also expensive, but wasn't nearly as much, especially when Access Code was like peak prices. But here, you know, it takes the same materials to get the ultra rare, so we do get the access code token. Now, just like with the Thunder Dragons, we are gonna have to go into Edu Pro for me to show you the combos, because we don't have a test feature here. We don't have a way to test the combos on our own. All we have is this thing, which is just, it's driving me insane. This is like the biggest cock blocking in the world. Why? This is so annoying that it even exists. Like, go all the way. Let us have a test, like test hand feature to actually play out the hand. I'm sure we'll have in the future, I mean, we have to. But as of now, I am gonna have to do these combo segments in Edu Pro. Obviously, it's gonna be the same deck. I'm gonna remove the ban list from there so we can play all the same cards. And, you know, basically just don't mind it. This is my way to show you what happens with the Master Duel deck. So let's get to the combos. So here we are, we're gonna start with the 1-card combo. All you need is a tour guide. And keep in mind, this is Burning Abyss, so don't expect something insane, but we do have like 4 other cards that could be like 4 traps and the Cold Buy or the Twin Twister, so for really useful cards or some hand traps, and you're gonna see what happens with our just 1 card. So for Burning Abyss in 2022, it's very decent. So we are gonna start by summoning obviously the tour guide, and we're gonna summon ourselves a graph from the deck. Now with these two, we are gonna be making a Dante in defense. And what is gonna happen, we're gonna mill just 1. We were gonna use what we need. We might hit a Skarn, but it's not worth it, like wasting the cards just because of that. We don't even play the like robot guy with the traps, the rock, what? I always forget this guy's name, Bugjack, so we can't even mill this guy. So we're just gonna do the 1. And obviously, because my deck is like stacked and not shuffled, it's just gonna be the maximum on the top. Now we're gonna trigger Graph's effect, and we're gonna summon ourselves a Seer. Now with the Dante and the Seer, we are gonna make a Mascarena, and now we can trigger both of their effects. So what's gonna happen is the Seer is gonna summon the Dante from the grave because he can, and then our Dante is gonna add that Seer. So gonna add him to the hand, and now we summon our Dante, and now as you can see, we can just summon our Beatrice by discarding the one we added. If we don't have other ones, if we have a Skarn for example, we can even search if it pans out like this, and summon our Beatrice. And now we have 4 cards in our hand. We have the Beatrice effect, then the Dante. He's gonna add ourselves a Burning Abyss from the graveyard too. We have the Mascarena after that if we have to make like a unicorn or something, and our 4 cards. And if the Beatrice gets destroyed, we can summon a Pilgrim. So for 1 card, it doesn't look like much, but with Beatrice and Mascarena and the 4 other cards, you actually can do a lot of stuff. You know, this isn't like a deck that is gonna make 10,000 negates, and this is the board, this is the combo. This is like you're grinding the opponent out. We have a lot of things we can do, and then you keep recurring your stuff. As I said, the Dante is gonna get our things back and all that good stuff, and we can even do some decent like stoppage. We can negate with the Beatrice or banish something, and then we can go into a unicorn. With the 4 cards we have stop everything the opponent has. We might still have a unicorn to go into access code and something the next turn to do a lot of damage. So for 1 card it is really solid. Let's get into the next combos. So here I'm gonna show you what happens if you have Seer and other random Burning Abyss. We do have 2 lines of play. I'm gonna show you firstly how we get to a Beatrice using Gravity Controller. So you normals, and then I'm gonna show you like Graph and the random Burning Abyss, and then a bit of a better version, another version of this one which involves Cherubini. But in this one we're just doing the Beatrice summon. So we normal summon the important one and special summon the random Burning Abyss. Now we make a Dante in the extra monster zone. Remember, this is important. You can mill 3 to test your luck, but for the combo purposes, obviously my deck isn't shuffled, and I want to show you like if you don't hit anything, what happens. Also make sure to detach the random Burning Abyss. And now we're gonna mill 3 maxis. Funnily enough, with my luck, even with a shuffled deck, this is probably what's gonna happen. We're gonna summon the Gravity Controller here, and now you probably already see where this is going. We can trigger the Dante effect and the Seer effect to basically summon the Dante, add the Seer to the hand, and make ourselves a Beatrice. So there it is. And this is how with Seer and a random Burning Abyss we get to the Beatrice. We do have 3 cards this time, but we do have the Gravity Controller and the Beatrice on the field. Let me show what happens if we have Graph and a random Burning Abyss. So with Graph and a random Burning Abyss we can actually end on the first board, we'll just have 1 card less. So basically we're running on Masquerena and Beatrice. We're gonna normal summon the Graph, we're gonna special summon the random Burning Abyss. Now we are gonna summon ourselves a Dante. This time we do detach the Graph. Make sure this time you mill 1 because we don't want to mill Seer. If you do, don't activate the effect. But you know, just mill 1 now, just to even lessen the chances and not waste your cards. So we're gonna trigger the Graph to summon Seer from the deck. And as you can see here, we're just gonna go into the Masquerena and with them summon the Beatrice by summoning our Dante and adding our Seer to the hand. There it is. And here comes the Beatrice. So this way we're left with 3 cards instead of 4, but we again have the Masquerena and Beatrice. Now I'm gonna show you the other line of play for the Seer random Burning Abyss combo. So we're gonna normal summon the Seer and special summon the random Burning Abyss. And this time we're actually making a Cherubini. This gets way better if you have 1 more Burning Abyss in the hand. Use the Seer to summon the random Burning Abyss from the grave. And now we are gonna use Cherubini's effect to send ourselves a Graph to the graveyard. And now we can trigger Graph to summon ourselves a Skarn. Now we are gonna make a Dante. And as you can see, we're gonna do for 1 because we just want the Skarn effect and there is nothing else that we wanna trigger right now. So we do that. And again, if you have 1 more Burning Abyss, this gets way better because you can actually summon Beatrice and have the Cherubini and Beatrice. But this way you have to choose between the Beatrice and Gravity Controller or the Cherubini with Dante. And you have still your 3 cards. Now if you have finished Rhino and a random Burning Abyss, you can actually get to Beatrice Masquerena again. So normal summon the Rhino, special summon the random Burning Abyss, make yourself a Dante. Again, you can try out your luck. But what we're gonna do is send the Rhino, and with the Rhino send a Graph. So there it is. We send the Graph, summon the Seer. And now you know, we get into that play again. We can summon ourselves a Masquerena. And use their effects to actually summon the Dante and add yourselves the Burning Abyss. There it is. And boom. So Rhino is really cool. You can actually do that with just 1 random Burning Abyss. And again, you have 3 cards in the hand. Now with Graph and 2 random Burning Abyss, you normal summon the Graph and special summon the one that you don't want to trigger. So I care about Skarn's effect right now, so I'm gonna summon the Farfa this way. We're gonna make ourselves a Dante. Send him for 1 to send our Graph. Special summon a Seer. And this way we actually get into the same play. But there is one difference if you have this play, by the way. So we're gonna obviously summon. This is just way better and safer if you have this and a tour guide at the same time. Something very important to do. So let me do this and I'm gonna finish my thoughts. So we are going to summon the Dante, get the card, you know, and now we discard like the 3rd one. And this is the one I told you about, which is gonna be Graph with 2 other Burning Abysses. Basically, you summon the one that you don't care about triggering this turn. So summon the Farfa this way. In this case, we want the Skarn effect. We're gonna summon ourselves a Cherubini. Trigger the Seer. Summon the Farfa. And now, again, we can just trigger the Cherubini to send a Graph to summon the... We already have the Skarn in hand in this specific case, but otherwise just summon a Skarn. So I'm just gonna summon the Skarn. And now we make the Dante, and you can see from here, we're just gonna detach the Skarn for 1. And now discard the other Burning Abyss to summon ourselves the Beatrice. So something very important, if you have this, and don't want to summon the Mascarena, or have some of the other ways to go into the Mascarena Beatrice besides Tour Guide, make sure you do that, because I know you see Tour Guide in the hand and you're like, oh, this is the best starter, this is obviously the best thing to do. No, because if you get Ash on the Tour Guide or something, or Wayward, whatever, it's over for you. You can't summon Burning Abyss because they will keep self-destroying. The Tour Guide is gonna stay on the field. You can't even Libic or something because you don't have a normal summon, so even if you special summon him, you can't trigger the other effect to summon another one. So if you do have the other lines of play, they're way safer because you can keep doing things. But if the Tour Guide gets stopped and stays on the field, this is it for you. So make sure to remember this. It's something actually really important because you know how many people are gonna play dashes, the Waywers, and all that stuff. And back to this, obviously we do have the 2 cards in the hand because we needed 1 more Burning Abyss to discard for the Beatrice, but that's gonna be it for the combos. Let's get back to the deck. So yeah, this is it. I hope it was helpful. Make sure to let me know if you wanna see duels. I'm willing to do duel videos just like with the Thunder Dragons, so if there is demand for it, just tell me in the comments, and I might make a Burning Abyss duel video to show the deck in action. Obviously the deck isn't in the meta of the meta, but I think it's quite decent for Burning Abyss in 2022. And actually you can surprise a lot of people with the strong traps you play. You can definitely pump up some wins with the deck. But tell me what other decks you wanna see, what other Master Duel content you wanna see. Again, we do have a Discord server link in the pinned comment and in the description. And I'm gonna miss you till the next one.